This video is brought to you by
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another FretroView. Now today's game will be covering Taz Escape from Mars. This game was developed in 1994 and developed by Head Games, I believe. And this is a part of the Looney Tunes games that I've been trying to find. So far I've gotten Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, I forget the title of the game, and I found Taz here. My local disc replay. Not a bad game at all from what I've played. I do remember playing this as a child way back when, but I didn't play much of it. I think we just rented it from the local game store or rent place from across the street. I think Taz has two games, because the one I played, I don't think it was this. May have been a different one. I might have to look that up to see which one it was. But now, back to this game. This game, I really like. It's actually pretty decent as far as the graphics goes, the animations. The only thing that kind of bums me out is the music. It's not bad music, but it is very lackluster. But we'll go ahead and kick this off. So, from the jump, the story goes. We have Marvin the Martian. He is, I guess, collecting like animals or creatures. Like he's the collector from Marvel's comics or something. So he's going over his book and he's looking at all his specimens. I guess he's got a zoo or something. And he checks his manual and he's going over rare Earth creatures. And I guess Taz is something he wants. Tasmanian devil. So he goes to Earth and beams, captures Taz. He just beams him up in the spaceship. And I don't know what the end goal is. I guess Taz is supposed to go in this zoo. And I guess, which is the first stage, I suppose. And then, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, Taz breaks out because he puts him in his Acme box and drops him off in a cage. And then Taz just busts out. Because, Taz is crazy. And he does crazy things. And he just does this little spin move and he busts out of the box and then you can just break out of the cage. That's Taz. So that's pretty much the story. And then you just go on and go level to level. Yeah, defeating bosses. And you don't really see Marvin too much after that. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I haven't made it too far into the game. Most with all these, they're very difficult. Not difficult, really. I'll get to it. But first, we'll go over So the gameplay in the game, it's very straightforward. So Taz has 3 actions. So you play with the 3-button controller. You got 3 buttons. You have your A button, which is the action button, the B button, which is jump, and then C button, I believe, is the spin button. You can change these around in the options. I changed mine because I like B button to be jump, and I wanted the spin button to be the A button. So you can do that. And that's pretty much it for the options, and then you play the game. So, gameplay-wise, Taz, they got Taz down, I think. His animations are really good. The A button, he does his little spin. His spin is very fast. Think of it as a dash move that also can damage enemies. So you hit the A button. If you hit the A button without hitting forward or backward, he'll just spin in place, which is cool. Because it acts as like a little block. It doesn't block against projectiles, but if like an enemy bumps into you while you're spinning there, they'll be damaged. Taz does have like a little knockback when he does collide anything with his spin. Don't really like that, but I do understand it, I suppose. If it didn't, the spin move would just be OP. So they had to do something to, give it some kind of negative action. Because other than that, like I said, his spin move would be. You would just keep spinning and not stop. So that, and you have his jump. His jump is very responsive. He can move mid jump, so if you can correct yourself mid jump, kinda. You can spin while jumping, which is also good. And he also has his spin. So I don't know why I relate everything to Sonic, but he can spin up walls. So he can't do it directly though. It has to be kind of an angle. Like it can't just be a 90-degree angle. Like he'll just run into the wall. But if there's like a little slant, Taz can spin and go up the wall. And if you got enough speed, he can go. He's on top of the wall and he'll just go around. But that's only if there's a slant or incline that leads toward the wall. If it's just a 90-degree angle, he's not doing nothing, which is pretty cool. They use that quite a bit in the levels, so that's pretty good. He also I spoke about the bounce that Taz has. So if you spin and like jump against a wall, Taz will bounce off of the wall, and you can use that to basically climb walls. So if there's a narrow passage that leads straight up, Taz can jump and basically ping pong his way all the way up that narrow passage, which is cool. And they also use that a lot in the levels. So the level design is very vertical. There's multiple paths you can take, which is cool. It's a really good game. They took their time with this. Now to the things that I don't like. And this is pretty much with every retro game. The enemies, their placement is weird and strange. Like I get it, they want to make the game, I guess not hard, but they want to make it difficult for you. But the enemy placements, like, so with I guess goes with the controller, the gameplay. You can use the D-pad, so the front and back moves Taz front and backwards. And up and down, you can actually move the screen up to look up and down to look down. And you really have to abuse that with this game because, like I said, the game's very vertical. So if you're trying to go down and you're like, say you come to an edge and you have to jump over, 9 times out of 10, there's something over there that's going to knock you down. So the best thing to do is to look down first before you jump, because I guarantee you there's either going to be some kind of obstacle, spikes, a pitfall, just to be aware of before you make that leap. Because on the other side, it's going to be an enemy, an obstacle, or something that's going to try to knock you down in that hole. And that's almost with every jump that you have to make that you can't see, because they make these jumps like just out of reach, so you can't see, so you just edge your way to the edge to try to get more view of what's over there. So that's the only thing that annoying. But like I said, a lot of games back then did this. Just a cheap way to keep you from progressing. But like I said, I don't blame them really. That's what you gotta do, I suppose. But that being said, there are a lot of obstacles in this game. Like I said, enemy placements. The enemies, they're not as well animated as Taz, but they're okay. They're not too bad. Like a lot of the enemies, they're enemies from the cartoons, or like a lot of the Marvin the Martian creatures you may recognize. The main one being the bird, the green bird with the long beak. I do remember him. I think most of the other ones, maybe less so. They may have made appearances in the cartoons, but they're not as obvious as the green bird. What else are we gonna go over? So there are a lot of collectibles or power-ups in this game. So I know I said that, the C button was the action button. Now I didn't know this at first, but Taz, if you pick up these collectibles, or power-ups I should say, they empower Taz, and I didn't know that because I don't have a manual with these games. So I get them from this replay, no manual. I just pop the game in and I start playing. So I was unaware that when you get these things, because Taz, like you see a power up or what you think is a power up. We'll get to that, and you grab it. Taz will eat it, and once he eats it, I was like, oh, he's just eating things, okay. And then you go about I went about playing the game. It wasn't until much later I realized, oh, there's an action button. So let's say I eat a box of rocks. Taz, and you hit the action button, Taz would then spit these rocks out, and you can use them as projectiles to destroy enemies. Which I was like, oh, okay. Now we're cooking with grease. So I went, I went back and I experimented with all the other little power ups I could find. So there's like a gas can Taz can eat, and he'll blow fire. There's like a potion of some sort. I don't know if it's like some kind of Martian mixture, but it shrinks Taz so he can get into like little narrow passages, but he can't damage enemies, and his jump height is shortened and all that kind of stuff. So it's only good for getting through narrow passages. And there's a giant Taz. I can't remember what the power up is, but he grows super big. Excuse me, like Mario in Big World or whatever. No, in Big World, everything else was big and he was small. Yeah. Okay. What else? There's checkpoints mid-level, which are very helpful because, like I said, this game is very annoying, and it'll try your patience. There's, like I said, there's health pickups. Now those, so I mentioned what you think are power-ups earlier. So there's a lot of power-ups, but they disguise some of them as power-ups when they're not. So you really have to pay attention to what you're picking up. So they'll have a cake, which you think is going to heal Taz, gain some health, but it's not, because there's a stick of dynamite on there. So you eat it and then Taz blows up and you're actually damaging yourself. And there's actual cakes that Taz can eat. There's meat, fruit that you can eat. But Taz eats everything almost. So if there's something that looks like you can interact with it, if you just walk to it, Taz will eat it. So bombs, which are laying around that can hurt you, he'll eat those. Dynamite sticks. Like I thought the gas can would harm me, but like I said, that's power up. So I don't know if you just need a manual to go over all the things Taz can eat that are good, maybe. Just be aware of that if you do play this game. And Taz can destroy his power up. So if you're spinning, which is kind of what I was doing. So my main advice during this game is to basically slow down. Don't abuse the spin move, because it will. You'll hit an enemy and then you'll fall down a pitfall, or you'll destroy a power up that you may have needed to get to a secret area, stuff like that. So you want to use, like, Taz's normal walk isn't that slow, but it does leave you vulnerable, and that's kind of why I was just using the spin all the time. Like I said, I would destroy power ups. You can destroy the debuff ones too, like the bombs and stuff, but they knock you around when you hit them, so then you'll fall down somewhere or something like that. So yeah, I'd say just take the game real slow. Take your time. Don't be like me and just try to whiz through, because it'll cost you. There's no timer that I saw in this game, so I did enjoy that. I can't stand games that have time limits. So you have plenty of time to explore and check things out. I guess now we can go over to now the graphics of the game. Like I said, I do enjoy the graphics. Like I said, I didn't make it too far into the game, so I couldn't see everything. But from what I saw, the animations, especially on Taz, are really good. He has an idle animation. His walking cycle animation is pretty good. I really love the spin animation. I think the only animation that really isn't that detailed is just his jump. I think it's just 2 or 3 frames, but that's fine. Most of the time you're jumping, you're probably going to be spinning anyway. The colors are pretty good. The pixel art's really nice touch. It, like I say, it does look like an Acme or Looney Tunes cartoon. Head Games did a good job with that. Some of the backgrounds are pretty good, especially I believe it's the second world. In the background, you can see like the scaling clouds. There's multiple layers back there, so it looks really detailed. The clouds are moving. The background is moving as you move through the level, so that's good. Really, the levels aren't too detailed, but they're detailed enough to be visually appealing, I should say. That's pretty much it with the graphics. Not too much I can really say on that. It really does look like you're playing the Looney Tunes cartoon. So now we will go over to now the sound of the game. I'm mixed on. Like I mentioned earlier, the music doesn't really pop like that. It does have some kind of like swanky, silly, like cartoon music, but that's about it. I think it's just the one tune through the entire game. So I can't really give them a golden star on that one. But as far as the sounds, like in the game, the sound effects, not too bad. Taz sounds like Taz. He grunts and growls and spins. The enemies really don't make too much sound. I don't think they make any sound that I think about it. Yeah, so you'll mostly be hearing from Taz himself. I know the bosses have sound effects. Like the moles in Mole World, when they shoot their little guns, they make like a little electricity sound. And all that's not too bad. I just wish there was more like music in the game. But as far as the sound effects go, not too bad. You know, the explosions sound like explosions. Like when Taz gets bumped around, you'll hear all those little noises, and beeps and bops and grunts and growls. Like I said, mostly the enemies, they don't really make sounds. Like they're the stuff they interact with makes sounds. Like if they spit or shoot a gun, like you'll hear that. But when they're like you spin into them and they're destroyed, like they don't make like a peep. Like they just quietly disappear into the ether. Let's see, what else? I think that's about it for Taz. I wish I could have made it farther so I could show you guys more gameplay, but I think I made it to like the third boss, and then the third boss sucked. It's like no, it was the second boss. I didn't even make it to the third. It's like it's some kind of alien jet, and he's shooting missiles, and he's not hard, but you'll see it in the gameplay. It doesn't or maybe I just suck. I don't know. You guys tell me. But yeah, that's it. This is the part where I close my mouth and let you guys listen and look at the game, and we'll go from there. Here we go. Alright, yeah. So that is Taz, Escape from Mars. Like I said, maybe later in the game you see a lot more of Marvin the Martian, but right now he is just minor characters and old Taz. Basically, most of your enjoyment comes from Taz and playing him and seeing what antics you can get into with him. So yeah, that is old Taz. Enjoyable game. I do recommend it. Wish there was more music, but yeah, what can you do? Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I can get my next video out pretty soon, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.